Hello. So, I won't lie, this is the second time I filmed this, a whole video, but you know, things happen. We're making granny squares today, and that's pretty fun. So I want to show you just a few things I've made with granny squares, or I'm currently working on, just so, you know, you can get an idea of what you can do with these. I do think with this video and maybe a couple more after this, I would like it if we could make like a tiny afghan together. I think that would be really fun. So I'll show you a few pretty basic squares. The super simple granny square, one with like a flower on the dais. He has little claws that he forgets about sometimes. What is that? Did you get bird poop again? Okay. Sorry. Oh gosh. So, things I've made with granny squares. Well, I made this blanket, which is pretty cute. It has a nice little ruffled edge, and it's a good decoration bit. I had an egg sandwich and I bit into it, and I don't like hard yolks, so my runny yolk just kind of spurted out and then landed on it, and I haven't washed it because it's wool, and I am so afraid of accidentally felting it or shrinking it, so gotta wash that sometime. But I've made a blanket. I made this bag out of, I don't remember how many granny squares. If you're interested in making this bag, let me know, and I will make a video about that at some point, and we can do that together. And what I'm currently working on is this blanket. Which I have 4 rather large granny squares that I've attached, and now I'm working around in another granny square stitch. I'm just gonna go. Oh, do you want to be under the blanket? Oh, so handsome. Oh, he gave me kisses. So that's something that I'm gonna hopefully finish before it gets into fall. Yeah, let's get started on making a super, super basic granny square, which is what I used for my bag and what I used for this afghan that I'm working on right now. And hopefully I don't run into any more technical difficulties, and I can just upload it easy peasy, no problem. Alright, so these are a couple examples of a really basic granny square. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that my footage failed because this red is a little hard to see, especially as like the first step. So we're going to start with, I think, yellow? Yeah, yellow looks nice on this camera. So to start our granny square, or some things you need to know about the granny square, we're following a really, really simple repeating pattern throughout the entire thing. Once we get our beginning circle, we're working in the round, and it's going to be a pattern of double crochet 3 and then chain 2, double crochet 3, chain 2, double crochet 3, chain 2, double crochet 3, chain 2, and attach. And then when we work on our second row, it's going to be that same repeating pattern, and you'll notice we have a little gap right here, and in our third row, as long as we make sure we're adding 6 double crochets into these corners right here, and our chain of 2 right in the middle, we can continue this on forever and ever and ever. But when we get into these little spots right here, we're just crocheting 3 and then chaining 2. So in our, if we were to add another row on, it would be our 6 here, 3, 3, 6. And we would just continue on like that right around. So let's get started on this. I'll set this aside. Get our yellow. So you can use as many colors as you want. You can work with 1 color, you can work with 3 or more, or 2, and just alternate. I like the look of 3. I just think it's pretty cute. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook. Hook size doesn't matter too much. Just be consistent, you know? At least in the beginning, be consistent. And then once you get better, you can do whatever you want. If you do plan on following along and making a blanket out of this, definitely make sure you're consistent in your hook size, because that'll make all the difference. So I'm using a 5 millimeter hook, and I am going to continue to use a 5.5 millimeter hook for all of my squares. So we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we are taking our hook and we are inserting it right into that first chain we made. So let me get closer so you can see. So we're going right in here, and we're just making a little circle. And we'll slip stitch that. And there we go. So this is our circle. So now we're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to work 2 double crochets right into the center of the circle. 1, and 2. Okay. And before I forget to mention it, I am working the tail. I'm kind of holding it close to this, so when I work inwards, I'm kind of hiding that loose tail right into these stitches as I go. You don't have to do that. I just found this works for me and it makes my life a little easier. So technically we have 3 double crochets worked in to our little circle right now. That 3 chain, which counts as a double crochet, 1 and 2. So now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to work 3 double crochets right back in that center of that circle. So 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're working 3 double crochets right into that center again. 1, 2, and 3. So if we look at this now, we're about halfway done. You can see that we have some very clear corners where our chain 2s are, and these are important because when we get bigger, we'll be working right in these spaces. So to continue, we chain 2 and then double crochet 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So from here, we are going to chain 2 again. 1, 2, and instead of double crocheting, we're just going to attach it right into our first set of double crochets. So you'll see there's like a little bit of a space between this chain 3 and our first double crochet, or second double crochet. So we are going to insert our hook right into that space, pull our yarn through, slip stitch, and secure. And then we're just gonna snip that right off. And here we go. Our first part of our granny square is done. And you can see it's already starting to look like a square, which is exciting. So now we're going to pick our second color, or, you know, if you want a second color. So now we're going to attach a new color onto this. And a very easy way I have found is making a slip stitch. And we're going to start right in one of these corners for our granny square. It doesn't matter which corner, just pick one. So we'll insert our hook in. We will wrap. We'll insert it right into that slip stitch too. And then we'll pull that through, tail and all. And then we'll chain 1 and pull it tight. So that one doesn't count as a chain. And there we go, we've attached a new color. So now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and remember this chain counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to double crochet 2 into that same space, 1 and 2. And now we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to, okay. And now we will double crochet 3 more times into that same space we've been working in. 1, 2, and 3. Am I still recording? Yeah. I forgot if my mic was on or not. All right. So we've got our first corner done on this row. And now we chain 2, 1, oops, and 2. And you'll see we have 1, 2, 3 double crochets right here. So we're going to skip over all of those, and we're going to work right into this corner. So double crochet 3 times into that corner. 1, 2, and 3. And then just like before, we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we are going to double crochet 3 more times into this corner. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let's chain 2 again, 1 and 2, and we're going to pass over all 3 of these double crochets and work immediately in this corner. So double crochet 3 times into that corner. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, and double crochet 3 times right back in that same corner we were just working in. 1, 2, and 3. chain 2, 1 and 2, and this is our last set, so we are going to double crochet immediately in that corner, passing over the previous row's double crochets. We're going to put 3 doubles, 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and work 3 more double crochets into that corner. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we have these three previous, oh gosh, we have our previous rows of double crochet. So we're going to pass over all 3 of those, and we're going to attach this, we're going to attach it together so it's continuous. And I have found it looks a little nicer if you can find right up top where the stitches are, but you don't have to. You can just insert it right in that space between the chain 3 and the double crochet. So I will work it into that little space, and we're going to slip stitch and attach. Hello, Amadeus. Snip the string. There we go. That is our second row. Oh, actually, kitten. All right, so now we're on our last round. So we're going to, once again, attach our new color into a corner. You can attach it right into any of the spaces, maybe in here, but I find it's easier if I just attach it into the corner. All right, so we've got that in, attached, and now we chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to repeat the same pattern that we did with our previous 2, where we chain 3, not chain 3, we double crochet 3, chain 2, double crochet 3. But in here, in these little in-between bits, we're just going to double crochet 3 and then chain 2 and move on over here instead of putting 6 in. So I'll show you how that looks. I think I got a little too close. Okay. Hopefully that fixed that. So 1 and 2. 1, 2. And remember, our first chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. Then 1, 2, and 3. Move that to the back. And now we will chain 2. And now we're working right in this in-between space. So we are going to put 3 double crochets right in here. 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to chain 2 again. Oops. 1 and 2. And then we're going to put 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets right into this corner. So 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 3. And now we're just going to repeat this a couple more times until we hit the end. And 3. And 3. Okay. So now we're just going to chain 2. 1, 2, and we're going to close up the square. So we'll find that first chain of 3. We'll insert it right in there. Pull our yarn through and secure it. Give that a little snip. And there we go. So now we have some loose threads tied. As I mentioned, I usually just work them right into my double crochets, or not into, but I kind of include them in with my chain 2s. So if you don't want to do that and you want to hide all your edges at the end, or your loose threads at the end, just kind of work a needle or a hook right into the middle of your double crochets. Grab your string and pull it right on through. And then it's hidden. And we just snip, 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 and all of those away. And there we go. Now we have a granny square. So this is the one I originally made, and this is the one we just made. Isn't that nice? Hi, I forgot to film an outro, so that's what I'm doing now. Granny squares. So I've made 8 of them. I know I'm holding only 7. One of them's in my purse. I haven't gotten to my full 10 yet, but that's okay. You know, you make one a day for a bit. You don't need to stress yourself out with making these. It's supposed to be a fun little thing. And if you are making an Afghan alongside with me through these videos, make about 10. If you want it smaller, make less. If you want it bigger, make more. But you know, try to keep a consistent number throughout all the squares we make, and yeah, have fun. That's the biggest thing. Have fun. Oh, I did get a really sweet comment this morning from someone on my other video, and they said that my sweater inspired them to finish making a scarf this winter, and that's awesome. Like, that's so great. My hope with this channel and this new series that I'm doing is just that people create. That's all I want. And like, no one needs to make anything big and fancy. Make scarves. Scarves are fantastic. I learned a lot from making scarves. Like new stitches, new techniques, new patterns. Scarves are fantastic. And they're rectangles. Rectangles are the best thing to make when you're learning crochet or knitting or sewing. Anything. You can make anything out of some good rectangles. And I hope to prove that to you through these videos. So, yeah. Is there anything else I wanted to say about making an Afghan? No, there's not. Not right now, at least. Consider liking, consider subscribing. I hope you stick around for this crochet series that we're doing. If there's any other stitches or techniques or granny squares you would like me to show you how to make, leave a comment and I'll do my best to get to them, and maybe we can make a real fun collaborative sort of crocheted square Afghan with whatever anyone wants in it. I know there are squares out there with like cats, moons and stars, suns, circles, other things, mushrooms. I've seen a lot of mushrooms. Yeah. I just want everyone to know that I fully support your crafting endeavors and I would love to hear about it. And tell me when you make things. I want to know. I'm so curious about what other people make. And I will see you next week with a project. Maybe not the glitter dress. I'm taking a bit of a break from that. Who knows what I'll be making. Whoa, hello Mozart. Yeah. Bye. Oh, my handsome boy.